in Ben's absence, I made the executive decision to have them installing those pop-up door outlets in the top of the day, so they can plug their cinema or call underneath. Bring me out.
Lisa said that. She was just telling me before. She said they were supposed to be.
We're not in yet.
Hey, I bet you can't sound the whole thing right now. Double dog there.
What is it?
Double dog there.
What is this thing?
Suck it. Double dog there.
Two ball sacks, I did.
Yeah, I think you already said.
20 ball sacks, I did.
All right, friends. Oh, that's loud, man. All right, everyone, we're going to stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I was warned we didn't have to eat the microphone, but I did not listen, so. Back. All right. Kathy, what do you got? Roll call for us.
All right, roll call it is. King is absent. All right, Pugh.
Present. Present.
All right, Liff. Here. Galogly.
Here.
Bergbauer. Here. Deskin.
Here.
Bartleson. Here. Cardamone. Here. We have a quorum.
All right, our police chaplain Mitzi's here to open us up in prayer.
Too close.
All right, let's pray. God, thank you for everything that's beautiful and good and right. Thank you that winter doesn't last forever and that spring is right around the corner. As our city council meets again tonight to consider the issues of the day, would you continue to give them insight, understanding, unity, and wisdom in all their decisions? Thank you. Amen.
Right on. Thank you, Mitzi.
And Mayor, members of the council, you may feel a slight vibration or noise on the ceiling. We're still a process here at the HVAC, so
All right.
what's going on tonight? Everybody quiet for a second. You'll listen for it.
Oh, no, we can.
You don't feel it?
Feel it.
Hear it? Clearly, we need a few more rubber gaskets.
All right. Well, why don't we start off any liaison reports? Jonathan, you got anything? Start us off?
I'm actually going to do Susan's tonight, too, for events.
Okay.
We have Lockport Restaurant Week starting Monday, February 3rd, and running through Sunday, March 8th. It will be 2 weeks of delicious dining showcasing the diverse flavors that make Lockport's restaurant scene so special. From appetizers to desserts, we have 19 restaurants featuring curated menus and exclusive specials designed to highlight their best dishes. It's the perfect opportunity to explore everything our local chefs have to offer, whether trying something new or visiting an old favorite. Just make sure to mention Restaurant Week to take advantage of special offers.
Hey, did you totally chat GPT there, bro?
This was handed
Yeah,
to me.
okay, yeah.
You may have outed somebody else for ChatGPT. All participating restaurants and their offers are listed on the city website under community events. There's also a link to an online map of over 50 local restaurants. Just click on offers to see those joining us for Restaurant Week. And just a reminder, complimentary valet parking is available in the city's downtown district every weekend, with valet stands located on both sides of State Street at 11th Street. Hours are Fridays 5 to 11 p.m. and Saturdays 4 to 11 p.m. Lockport Restaurant Week is a collaborative effort of the City of Lockport, the Lockport Chamber of Commerce, and Heritage Corridor Destinations. Now I will move on to serious matters of the Police Liaison Report. Members of the Lockport Police Department recently attended the Special Olympics Illinois Kickoff Conference, where the department was recognized with a third-place statewide award for fundraising efforts in 2025. Our department raised $73,600, marking the highest amount ever raised in Lockport Police Department history for this cause. Throughout the year, officers...
Bravo.
Throughout the year, officers participated in numerous fundraising and awareness events, including Cop on a Rooftop at all 3 Duncan locations, Burgers and Badges at Culver's, the Plane Pull at Lewis University Airport, the Polar Plunge, Trivia Nights, and a seasonal mum and popcorn sales. In addition to fundraising, officers dedicated countless off-duty hours volunteering at Special Olympic events and competitions, supporting athletes during games, and participating in the torch run. Many officers also personally contribute their own time and money to help raise both funds and awareness. The Lockport Police Department is proud to support Special Olympics Illinois and the incredible athletes it serves. This continues to be a meaningful and impactful cause for our department and our community.
All right. Anybody else got anything? What do you got, Rob?
I'm proud to tell you that the City of Lockport has been presented with a Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. This Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by a government and its management. And this was for the annual comprehensive financial report for the fiscal year ended December 31, 2024. So congratulations to Lisa and the finance.
And I have an HR report.
All right, Steve.
It won't be AI-driven and/or a sing-song is that one, but I will say we do have a new hire, Dennis Molesky, who is our new IT manager, comes to us from Tinley Park, and based on all of the Wi-Fi stuff tonight, he couldn't have gotten here any sooner. So I'd like to welcome Dennis to us. So thank you for being here.
Very good. Thank you.
I actually have some. Did everybody go? Okay. I have two things. First of all, Bloom is going quite well. Thank you very much, Brian, for all your help. It looks like, fingers crossed, we are going to go put shovels in the ground in the spring for the new community garden. Then also Heritage and Architecture. We met yesterday. That was really a good conversation. We talked about the painting of brick in the downtown historic area, and we pretty much resolved that. Also, we talked about the new building that is when we take down Delwood, not Delwood. Delwood Tire. Not the whole thing of Delwood, not the park. When we take down Delwood Tire, they're changing it, the new building, and we made a couple changes on that, and I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful. Such a good addition to downtown.
Right on.
And that is it for me.
Thank you, Christina. Appreciate it.
And I have one.
Oh, man, sorry, we jumped all over the
Is
place.
it coming up, or?
Steve got some.
I don't think they're, oh,
there
here we
it
go.
is.
Okay.
On Monday, February 16th, the Public Works Department responded to SCADA alarms for pumps 1 and 2 at the Maryknoll lift station. Pump 2 reset, but pump 1 remained offline. Staff discovered discharge piping from pump 1 spraying inside the wet well and removed the pump from service. A follow-up confined space inspection confirmed severe deterioration of the force main and check valve piping. Full mechanical reconstruction, exterior excavation, and partial force main replacement are required to restore the station. Staff are finalizing the scope of work and meeting with 3 contractors this week to begin emergency repairs. A contract award will be brought to council after the fact, as the project cannot wait until March 4th. The cost is expected to remain under $100,000. And you can see the problem.
So that valve, I mean, that looks like it hasn't been looked at in years. How does that work with like just annual maintenance and checks and stuff?
Yeah, it hasn't been looked at for a while, unfortunately.
Okay.
It's not something that the city has done. We've actually had 3. This station was built in 1960. The valves and the pumps have been working, but the valves themselves, obviously, that hasn't been turned or looked at. We are looking at the other one. One is 13th Street, which we're currently under construction, and the guys are going to be going in and looking at Hamilton Street lift station, which was at the same time and hasn't been probably looked at since this one too.
Okay.
So there are some that, yeah. It's not
All right.
it looks like something from the Titanic.
It does, yeah. All right. Well, you know, I kind of could discuss kind of a annual maintenance checks or something. So, all right, very good.
And 2 more small things. The city advertised the Division Street wastewater treatment plant expansion project last Friday, and the bid opening is scheduled for March 30th. And a bid opening for the Well 13 and Well 16 treatment plant rehabilitation project was held today. Staff is now reviewing the submissions, and a recommendation will be presented at the next city council meeting. That's all I have.
Right on, thanks. So everybody's good? I actually had some stuff I could talk about. I know the governor gave a kind of a state of the state speech today. A couple things that could affect us. He was looking at cuts to LGDF. That's kind of our money that we get from, tax and growth, stuff like that goes to all the municipalities. They almost always talk about cutting it every year, and then, Illinois Municipal League and the Mayor Caucus, we always kind of push back, and we'll see where it lands. The kind of belief, though, is that with the cut, that economic growth that happened in the state should level it out, but we'll see. It's to be seen. The other thing, though, that was more interesting, I think, was the governor's proposal to kind of override a lot of local zoning and autonomy for municipalities when it comes to residential. Currently we have zoning for, whether it's apartments or townhomes or single-family use. He really is pushing to do kind of a state-level zoning where we wouldn't have that kind of discretion anymore. And so this is all in an effort to build more affordable housing. Interestingly enough, a lot of the things that they're proposing is stuff that we've been doing, right? We haven't been opposed to apartments. We haven't been opposed to the tiny home clusters that we've talked about multiple times. We've always been open, just never had anybody interested in doing it. Kind of building other structures on properties. We've talked a lot about, like, can you build a mother-in-law apartment above your garage? We've always been open to that. So there are things that we want to do. It's just the structure of the state telling us we have no choice and we can't be specific about where that could happen. And that could be problematic. So we'll see how that goes. I've already talked to some other mayors who feel like it's a little bit much. So it's more along the lines that I've said the affordable housing issue in our state is oftentimes comes out of Springfield when we have to use 2x6s now instead of 2x4s, when we have to have conduit put to all those apartment spaces. We saw that at the Springs. Every one of those parking spaces had to have conduit for electric vehicles. And, that was an extra $300,000 on that project, I believe. It was close to that. And so those are costs that I think that the state puts on development that is really raising the cost of living in many ways. So those are things that I think the state would be better served addressing. Anyway, so that was some stuff. Other things, too, of interest, Lance and I, we attended a kind of a little talk or seminar about data centers. It was put on by the industry, people who try to build these things. So I think I was the only mayor in the room, so it was interesting to hear their perspective when they just think they're talking to industry people. But, there's an acknowledgement that data centers have been going on for 30 years. It's really only the scale and scope and density of them in recent years to keep up with the whole AI phenomenon that has really drawn so much attention. And so they know that they have to think differently. But I've also been talking a lot with CMAP and Metropolitan Mayor Caucus again, Congressman Foster, just about even the industry people recognize data centers as kind of like the fifth utility, right? There's you got electric, water, you've got gas, you've got telecom, and now you have compute, right? And it really is becoming an infrastructure issue as opposed to just a business. And so thinking about it differently, and even when you're talking to Congressman Foster, this is happening so fast, it's been hard for government to keep up, because usually we're reactive to things because we wait till something happens. Not because we're short-sighted, but it's hard to make rules for things that don't exist, right? So it's really about trying to work with these larger groups to find a right path forward with all this stuff, because there's a lot of concerns with data centers with the amount of resources, whether it's water or electric and these kind of things that it takes. So there's a little update on that for you guys. All right, friends. I guess that's everything for our reports. So we'll jump into a consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion to have a consent agenda.
So moved.
All right, Christina and JR, all in favor?
Aye.
You okay, Ben? Did you want me to start with the women's club? Because I don't actually have that on my agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on the next meeting, I guess.
no, it's after the consent.
Did I miss
After
it?
consent, it's after consent.
It's right after consent.
CD2, CD3.
That's where I thought we were going to do it.
Yeah, we just,
Okay.
slide just got out of order.
Patience, ladies. Thank you. Okay. So we have, we're good with having a consent agenda? Yeah, all right. So tonight we're looking for approval for our regular city council meeting minutes from February 4th, committee of the whole meeting minutes from February 4th, our payroll period ending February 1st, bills through February 10th, resolution 2618 for the real estate purchase with 711 South State, at former Delwood, ordinance 26004 approving a major change to the plan development for the property north of 159th, west of I-355, the Springs. There's the release of the bond, initial acceptance for site improvements for Wendy's. There's the proposal for design engineering from V3 for the, what was this one for again? Okay.
11th Street parking lot.
11th Street, thank you. And then we had Resolution 26012 for professional services with the K-9 Guardians. So, looking for a motion to approve.
So move.
All right. Got Joanne, seconded by Jonathan, and may we have a roll call, please?
You got it. King is absent. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff. Yes. Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, so we're looking for a motion to approve our 2026 through 29 strategic plan.
I'll make that motion.
JR,
Second.
seconded by Robin. Was there any final questions? I know we've gone over this many times, so we're all good. We'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. King is absent. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, next we're looking for a motion for approval for the updated official zoning map.
Make the motion.
JR,
Second.
Jonathan. I was the only one that had a question last time, but it was a really small question, and I was just wanted to clarify something, so I'm good with it now, so I think everybody else was okay. So unless there's questions, we can do a roll call.
Will we have a fresh copy of it posted here once we approve? Wonderful.
All right, we're good? All right, King is absent. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, now the fun stuff. So looking for a motion to pass Resolution 26027, awarding the Lockport Women's Club Boatyard Park construction to Swart Construction for $431,326.
So move.
Moved.
Man, it's a tie.
Second.
All right, so Christina and Darren. Do you, Lance, you want to talk about this for a moment?
Sure. We opened the bids on February 4th. Bids came back favorable. We were a little concerned just with inflation, construction pricing, and things that we're hearing from our developer community, that prices would come back a little bit higher than what they did. So we were very pleased with the numbers that we got. The contractor that we are recommending for selection tonight has done a number of other parks. The design team that designed this park currently have some parks under construction with this group, and I've had no issues with them at all. They have already started to coordinate between the equipment manufacturer, which is really the next resolution, to award the equipment contract for that. But all seems to be good. On your screen, you kind of see some of the elements. In the upper left-hand corner is what will be the canal boat. There's basically two half pieces of a canal boat with a bunch of things in between, play equipment and play structures in between. There's also a zip line that is within the park. There's barrels like you see in the lower right-hand corner, and there is a tool shed that you see in the lower left-hand corner. All of it will be surrounded by a concrete curb that will have playground mulch for the entire surfacing, a little bit of a sidewalk that connects it to the bike path that starts to weave its way through the Heritage Village. So yeah, pretty exciting split rail fence around the whole thing, directly adjacent to the canal.
All right. Well, why don't we vote on these two, and then we can talk a little bit, I think, well, let me just do it first. I want to just, on behalf of the council and staff, just really thank the Women's Club for initiating this whole project. I mean, some years ago, you guys had a vision to do a legacy project in the city. For, 100-something years, the Lockport Women's Club has had quite a legacy, right, with scholarships and other projects and, markets and fairs and everything that you guys do. And this physical park was something that was bold and exciting, and we're very glad that you had the tenacity to stick through it. And that was the whole spooky night out. We used it as that kind of impetus to raise some funds and get things going, which of course tremendously helped when we applied for a grant, right? Grants like to see when there's, different organizations all working together as opposed to just one idea from one group. So when we were able to partner together with the city and what you did and others, it really made those grants come through. So thank you so much. We're very excited about seeing this built. I know you guys are too, so thank you so much.
They're contributing $40,000 to the project, so we thought maybe we could do a picture at the podium with you and some of them.
All right, let's do this. Why don't we vote on these two things and we'll do the picture? All right, I like it. So any questions on CD2? Can we do a roll call, please?
Can. All right, Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, and then we'll, looking for a motion to pass Resolution 26028, which is the equipment for the park.
So move.
Second.
Darren and Joanne, and we'll do a roll call.
You got it. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, fantastic. Well, please, let's do a picture. I really, that'd be
Hey, Lance, while they're taking a picture, what would be the next process of getting the pedestrian bridge? Is it attached to this, or just south or north, or what's?
It would be, at least the diagrammatic location that we have, it would be south of this.
It would be south.
Yes. So that we can create a loop with the Second Street Bridge that goes over the canal, so you can kind of get that whole walking loop around the features, and then you walk through them.
Make me happy if I got a piece. Is there a gum left?
JR's ahead.
You guys, thank you so much. I'm really sad when you get here. She wasn't feeling good, but I know she was a big part of helping all this stuff. So, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give it to the money, to the money. That's right. That's something we said. All right, so we'll keep rolling. So next, we're looking for a motion to approve Resolution 26016, which is the Karen Springs Stormwater Management Facility Rehab with V3. So looking for that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
JR and Rob. Any questions, concerns? And we'll do a roll call, please.
You got it. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, and lastly, we're looking for a motion to approve 26026 for downtown coping refit of the planters with Burke. So looking for a motion for that.
So move.
Darren?
Second.
JR, any questions, concerns on it? All right, then we'll do a roll call, please.
All right. Pugh.
Aye.
Liff.
Yes.
Galogly.
Yes.
Bergbauer.
Yes.
Deskin.
Yes.
Bartleson.
Yes.
Cardamone.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Right on. Anybody have any new business? All right, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn. Okay.
I second.
Joanne and Christina, big second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Yeah, please, roll call.
All right, roll call it is. King is absent. Pugh.
Present.
Liff.
Yes, here.
Ilogly.
Here.
Bergbauer.
Here.
Deskin.
Here.
Bartleson.
Here.
Cardamone.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, friends, so tonight, we got CA1. What you got, Ben?
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the council, Resolution 26019 is approving the reappointment of Joel Young to the Board of Police Commissioners for another 3-year term until 2029. Mr. Young has been on there for at least one term already. We've been doing this for 3-year terms for a while now, so we checked with him. Obviously, the mayor's making the appointment, so we see no reason not to continue this opportunity.
You guys good with consent for Joel? All right.
Sure.
And CA2, looking at putting Lisa back on the pension board. Everybody good there?
Yes, it'll be 26021. One of the staff members needs to be on the police pension board. Lisa makes the most sense as she deals with a lot of the finance and has been serving probably since you've been here, so she's doing a great job, so we'd like to repeat that as well.
All right. And then we have reappointments of Nick and Ron for Heritage and Architecture.
H&A, these will carry these members, Nick Arriaga and Ron Liff, until April 30th, 2029.
I'm going to suggest perhaps that should not go on the consent agenda because I'm going to have to abstain, so maybe we could do that separately.
You bet, thank you.
Just curious, is that an abstainable thing?
Probably best practice.
All right, very good.
Yeah, because I know that guy.
All right, that guy. It was too embarrassing to vote no, so just say, I'll just abstain.
Mayor, we didn't address the CA2, is that consent?
Yes.
Is it?
CA2's consent, CA3 was action, and then CD1, what do you got here? We got
This is just
appointments
the
for.
reappointment of Aaron Peters and Kyle Quinn to the Plan and Zoning Commission.
All been
3-year
good.
term, 2029.
Everybody good there? So that's consent. I know we still have a few other appointments that we got to still deal with, so we'll see more of those coming. All right, next we'll go down to CD2, which is the grant for 948 North State. You want to tell us a little bit about it, Lance?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. Council, this is related to Resolution 26020. The applicant, Dennis Draper, is representing the different property owners. Dennis is here tonight if you have any questions for him. Located 940 through 948 North State Street. They are requesting funds through the city's facade and site improvement grant program to reconstruct the front parking lot across all of the properties. So it would go from where there is currently a tannish fence north to the end of where Lupine's building ends right now. The property is currently occupied by the Wings Dance Studio, Villanova Pizza, and Lupine Montessori School. The requested funding would continue to support the revitalization of that plaza. Just as a reminder, that was one of the council's strategic plan items from our current strategic plan, not our next strategic plan. So it's good timing that this is all getting wrapped up. I'm sure as many of you have driven by, all of those buildings have been redone at this point, and the entire south portion of the plaza has been redone as well, along with some more coming. So this is kind of the conclusion of that rehabilitation effort to this aging plaza that we have up there. The project is Zone C2 Community Commercial. It's located in the designated target area for this. The facade grant program allows for a 50% match up to $20,000 per facade and $10,000 for site improvements for a maximum of $50,000 per property. Parking lot is a site improvement. It goes across 5 different properties, and $10,000 per property. It's a total of $50,000 is what they would be eligible for. However, there have been additional financial reviews by all 3 property owners, and they would like to request of the council an additional $30,000 to make the total grant request $80,000 to be able to accomplish the scope that is shown on that graphic. So it is a pretty significant change. As many of you probably know, there are currently 4 drive entrances into the parking lot. Because there are 5 properties across that entire expanse back when it was developed, and I'm sure there are some council members that probably remember some of the earlier days of this plaza, they would like to close those to try and make it more of a consolidated lot. If you have tried to park in that parking lot, these spaces are deficient, the aisles are deficient, makes it very difficult to park, get in and out of that parking lot. So this would be a consolidated design that would take a consistent approach all the way across from north to south, east to west. The right-of-way for North State Street is quite wide. On your screen, you'll see it kind of along the northern edge. It's kind of where that striping that curves out into North State Street kind of ends. That's where the right-of-way would be, so all the improvements are on their property. It's a primarily angled parking opportunity, and they've been working with Lupine to try and incorporate drop-off and pickup parking as well, so that they can stage that appropriately. So with that additional request, the total would be an $80,000 request. You have currently approved $0 so far this year for the facade and site improvement grant program. We have $100,000 budgeted. Obviously, 80 divided by 100 would get you the 80% of what we have budgeted. If you have any questions about the totals that we have in those accounts, Lisa has also done some research if you do want to ask her about what's in there. So that's our request. So either for consent or action on the March 4th City Council meeting.
So it still doesn't open up the lot with all the properties to the south, right?
So there is a connection. I wish I had like a pointer, but if you see where the arrow is pointing in 2 different directions in the left, far upper left hand corner.
Oh, it's on the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it needs to get around the fence.
Yeah.
So the property owners to the north don't have an interest in removing that fence. That was one of the considerations earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
They would prefer to keep that condition, given the kids walking in and out of Creative Wings, instead of having cars driving back and forth through that area. They would prefer the connection to be on the west side of the parking lot.
Can I ask a question? I mean, how many times, like, have we made a concession to go over the maximum that?
We've probably done it a couple times a year. So the Opera House was one of them. Actually, the Villanova facade portion of their project was one of the times that we went over. The council has the authority to do that within the grant as it's written. Our maximums are written as a standard baseline for the grant, but if there are extenuating circumstances or a need and the council believes it's an objective that they want to accomplish and get done, then that is at your discretion to be able to approve that amount that goes above and beyond what we either have budgeted or as a part of the maximum amount available for the grant.
I know it seems like a lot of money, but you've got to figure it's 5 businesses, and it's divided amongst 5 of them. So it is taking a big chunk of it, but if we break those down, we're helping 5 businesses.
3.
3?
Yeah, 5 parcels.
Oh,
But 3
sorry.
businesses, yeah.
3, we're 3. It's 3.
But it's 5 parcels, so if the parcels are all allowed. So let me, what's your opinion on this? I'm fine with what we're talking about, but it's that connection that has always bothered me. I get that Wing Studio is there at the moment, and, they feel like, it'd be better if we didn't have a cross-traffic like you might have it where, Roland Donuts is. You can go all the way from there, all the way over to Coombs Corner, and it allows movement through all those businesses. you know, I mean, I hope Wings is there for eternity, but, you know, is it short-sighted to not open that up across?
The design does not preclude that from happening in the future. The drive aisle, as you see, that runs along the front of the businesses could easily extend to the south if the fence was ever taken down and that modified.
And again, you don't have to take down the whole fence, it would just be for the lane.
You could just take down a portion of the fence if you wanted to. Some people want to take down the whole fence and do landscape instead of fencing. So, yeah, this design would not preclude that from happening in the future if ultimately both property owners agreed that that was to their benefit.
Well, that's fine. Now's the time for leverage. If you're asking for money, right? If we think it's the best move for the overall health of the, you know, the whole park, the whole plaza, all the buildings, is kind of seeking your professional opinion if you think it'd be better to. And you know what? If you feel like, dude, this is too much on the spot because I'm just throwing this at you, you can take some time to consider it.
Yeah. I mean, I would always say that connectivity between anything is a good idea. That's why we include stub streets in our residential communities, because it ultimately connects to adjacent properties when and if they develop. That's why we require typically that there be cross-access between outlots, cross-access between shopping centers and different things like that. In this case, if that is something that you would require as a condition of the granting of the facade grant, that certainly can be, that's your prerogative. This is reviewed as a building permit. It doesn't come through as a final development plan because there's not any rezoning, there's no subdivision, there's no building, there's no use change. It's just simply a building permit. But if that is a condition of your approval, then that's.
So who owns that fence?
Yeah, there you go. Wasn't it to the people to the south or no?
Yeah, the people to the south own the fence.
Well, we can't put restrictions on this facade grant because the people to the south don't want the fence removed.
Okay. I felt like we've talked, it's Paul, right? Isn't that the guy's name?
So they would, in our conversations with property owners to the south, they wouldn't have any issue if the fence was gone. What their long-term plans are as far as how they are looking to reconfigure or resurface or redo their parking lot, I can't tell you, nor what their schedule might be.
But you made a comment like they don't want the fence down. Are you talking about them then? Paul's like, I want that fence?
No. Paul is okay if portions or all of it would be removed. But that may have been his comment a month ago or 2 months ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
But it may have changed since then. I don't really know, but it is a good one.
Well, we participated in the renovation of that shopping center. You know, several years ago, we put in a water line. We've got the lift station over there that's going to have to be a new valve over there. So we've put a little bit of money in, and we haven't put a lot of money. It's probably about, with this, maybe $250,000, maybe $300,000, which isn't too bad. If it was built in 1960, that's not too bad. So I'm good with it, but we would address it, because the inevitable is that the businesses on the south side of the fence, their parking lot is going to have to be addressed sometime in the future, and it's just going to make everything better for the city, you know. And so this extra $30,000, to put it in perspective, is 3 weeks of video gaming revenue. So
I should note, Mayor, that currently south of the fence, that drive aisle is not set up to go through.
Okay.
Because that's where Lupine used to have their drop-off, and
Yeah.
it curves around to the south. It's not all asphalt up to the fence
Yeah.
until you get to the parking spaces. So the south owner would also need to reconfigure his parking lot
Yeah.
concurrent with them redoing theirs.
I understand. Okay. All right. I was talking about what's in front of us. Is everybody okay with what's in front of us?
I do have concern that it's really going to take a lot out of the budget for what the city budgets for, to be able to accommodate people that need help. You said it's the account right now has 100,000?
No.
How much, if $80,000 gets taken?
We budget 100,000, okay? But the gaming fund has 1.1 million in it at the end of December, all right? There was $1.1 million in the account. We just budget a small amount every single year for facade, because we have other things that we use the money for. Also, the valet comes out of that fund, okay? So we have commitments on that council has already provided for another 400,000 that haven't been paid out, Opera House being one of them, and a couple of other small ones on State Street and 9th Street. So there's about $700,000 available. So if we approve this and council decides that there's something else that comes in front of them, we would do a budget amendment to allow that. Okay? So you could take each one in front of you as it comes, as long as we have a balance there to be able to cover any type of budget amendment. So, you know, that doesn't have to be
I guess my concern is if someone else applies for help also, you know,
Right.
and really taking a nice little chunk out. And, you know, I understand, you know, it's going to benefit everyone concerned, but it is a lot of money.
Lance, we're typically aware when people are interested in applying. Like, it's not like it just shows up at city council. In most cases, right? Like, do we have some kind of foresight into?
Yeah, we probably know 1 to 2 months ahead.
Yeah, we don't have anything.
Currently, there's nothing on the.
It's just the outstanding stuff that we're waiting to get receipts in.
Yeah, when we do it 2 different ways, because I can only match or track what we approve for the year. She does it based on what we pay out during the year. So there's 2 differences, because, for an example, the building next to Uncle Richie's that received a facade grant last year, I think, or maybe the year before, they just finished their tuck pointing. So they still have to do their window redos, they have to do the facade redos, they still have to redo a number of things before they are eligible to submit their receipts to get refunding. So she accrues that money and holds it off to the side and then pays it off. So her payments for a project that was approved in 2024 may get paid out in 2026. Whereas I try and track every year so that, you know, we make sure that the amounts that you all are approving, you know where you are within our budget, so that whenever she ends up paying it out, we feel comfortable that there are dollars there that are still within either the budgeted amount or whatever is approved by the council.
So the 100,000, just to recap, is really a placeholder. We just kind of put that in there unless we knew something specific was coming. And so I think your concern is there's only going to be 20,000 left. But if 2 or 3 more people come in this year, I think what you're hearing is there are funds available to exceed the budget amount, and then we just ratify that at the end of the year.
It's gone over the budget that you normally do for the year.
It goes over the placeholder, but we
Right.
still have $1 million in an account that you can pull from.
And that fund also gets replenished at about $40,000 a month through the video gaming revenue. So you're looking at last year was like 530,000. Expect 530,000 again this year. You know, we'll definitely have, we're going to have the money.
Well, I guess my concern is, first, I want to commend you guys. Always come so complete, and we're very blessed to have all the information that you provide. So thank you for that. The second piece is, but my concern is, I mean, that's like, we'll say, 60% more than we would on a normal grant. And we can set a precedent, because if I come in with a sign, well, why do this size sign if I can do something a little bigger and I can get more money? Like, I'm just a little concerned that we're setting a precedent for, well, this is the line, but it really isn't the line. That's what my concern is. And this is, you know, the other question I would have is, you know, is the $30,000 going to preclude the project from happening? You know, it just seems like a big ask.
Sure. I would say, like, my observation on it is a couple things. I think you're pointing out all the right stuff. You know, you've heard the word placeholder a couple times. You know, when we came out with, this is the number that we will put out there that's available and you can match it, it really was just a number we pulled out of the air, right? There's been times when we've talked about, like, should we be upping this number, right? Because a few times a year it usually goes over, right? And So it's not, we've kind of already set the precedent that like, it's a fluid number. We understand it was just a number we pulled out of the air just so it wasn't wide open, right? We had some kind of, metric. And then as we look at the reality of projects, we, could then adjust it. Because the truth is, it's such a crapshoot of, we have such a unique old town that it's hard to judge what projects are going to cost, because it could be anything, right? And so, was the placeholder perfect? No. The discretion, I think, I don't feel it in the sense that like we just throw the budget out the window all the time on this one. This is one of those places where I feel it's a unique kind of fund, and places like one of these users, right, actually pays into the fund with their own gaming machine. So it's, as Darren pointed out, it does replenish itself even with some of these particular users. So it doesn't bother me as much, but you are right to be sensitive to these things. So, for me, it's not as, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lisa, but the reason we have more money than just the 100,000 is because it's a restricted fund. So if something doesn't get spent, it carries over. So some of this is from funds that we just carried over because we didn't spend it all, and again, because we just pulled numbers out of the air when it came to this, never knowing what projects are really going to cost because the scopes have such a variety.
Mayor, I might suggest a couple different things. So when you think about a precedent, the things that I oftentimes think about in these kinds of situations is what are the priorities of the council? And are you starting to hit some of those priorities of the council to achieve projects? And they may cost a little bit more, but they're objectives. And so the next person that comes in, maybe, Sam's sign and he wants a sign, but it's not a priority for you. Whereas this is clearly outlined as a very specific priority in your strategic plan. And at least my opinion is that, if you are putting a priority on the things that you've identified in your strategic plan, that's a completely defensible reason why you could say, we need to achieve these objectives, especially in the last year of the strategic plan, in order to accommodate it. And if this overage is something that allows us to do that and check that box off the list and complete the renovation of this, that makes a lot of sense. I would say that the vast majority of our facade grants are less than the amounts that we offer. I would maybe say 15% of grants are even over the 50,000 total that we could offer somebody. The vast majority of them are like awnings, signs, lighting, some landscape, things like that don't get to this level. This is a significant improvement. You saw the bids in your packet. They are anywhere between 260,000 to 320,000. So this isn't a small endeavor, and even the 80,000 doesn't even come close to approaching the 50% metric that we have in the grant. Not to say that anything should be at 160, but for sure 80,000 proportionate to the overall cost of the project. This is a very significant project.
Well, it's much easier to swallow and understand because you guys are so complete and so good at your job. So thank you.
Well, good questions. What most people don't understand is we don't use the video gaming revenue for our general fund and for our operating, unlike most other towns. It is a restricted fund. I just looked up the January numbers. It was $40,709.40. So January and February is going to pay for this project. And but good questions.
Mm-hmm. The only last thing I have is, because I think the big picture of having a connection along the front probably makes sense, and taking that fence down and getting rid of that weird division, making the plaza feel more open, I think is important. And I understand the fence belongs to the folks to the south, but is there some of that right-of-way to the north belongs to the Wings lot? Like, or is all of that belong to Paul? Like, if we said, we're gonna extend this lane, like a year from now, we decide this is something we wanna do, is it totally just up to Paul on the south, or does Wings have a say because they own some of that land on the north side of the fence?
Yeah, I mean, they could not connect in because there is not a cross-access easement over the properties. If they would want to make it legal, then there should be a cross-access agreement amongst all the property owners.
Yeah.
Many property owners don't assign those because they just accept it as a matter of business. Like we don't have cross-access between some of our outlots in some situations.
Okay.
One potential way, if this is something that the council wants to entertain, is we could require that if the southern owner ever reconfigures his lot to accommodate a connection between the properties, as a condition of this grant, this property would need to connect across there.
I guess that's where I'm going, because I don't want it to come back like, absolutely not, right? And our leverage was now, right?
Right.
So I'd like to see that, have an agreement, like, yes, we would agree to cross-connect as a condition on here. Because I think that really does open up the plaza. I think it's the last part of the plaza that just makes it weird. Even when I'm there, when I'm at Hollingsworth and then I want to go to Villanova, it's like, it was weird. I had to go out to the street and come back. At least here, you don't have to go out to the street anymore. But I think like just the weirdness of still going up and around is a bit wonky and I don't see that in any other successful strip plaza. So,
In looking at the aerial photo, it looks like the old parking lot, or the existing parking lot, precluded the fence. There's clearly open access through there, like there's no parking or berms or anything.
Right.
In the way,
is, yeah.
right. So I'd love to see the fence down too.
if I'm not mistaken, I think the fence went up just because of like a clash of the titans kind
No,
of.
there was an existing fence that was there.
Yeah.
As a part of our water line project that we installed for the previous grant that we ran that water line up in there, we had to remove a section of that fence. When we removed the section of that fence, the rest of it started to collapse on its own.
Yeah.
And so as a part of the project, we needed to replace that fence
Oh, I gotcha.
in its entirety.
No, I meant like why the fence went up 40 years ago.
Oh.
Is where the, it was the Hatfield McCoy's kind of thing, like, we're gonna fence up, right? It was like, even though it made no sense, right? So, all right.
If
Are you
that-
guys okay if we like have a conversation with these folks about looking at a cross-access easement and conditions?
I think it increases visibility. Like if you're driving north, you don't see Wings and Villanova.
Right, I think it helps everybody along there, so.
My last question is, part of the extra money you said was for drainage, but I don't really see any major drainage to this project, except is it all inverts?
So the challenge with this parking lot, is that it is bowling alley flat. The reason why the potholes have created where they are is that is the only spot that the water goes. It all drains to that middle area, but if you look at the existing survey, the slope across the parking lot is 0.001%. So, I mean, it's nearly strike and spare flat. So with this project, what they are trying to do is up closer to the building, there's a curb along the building. They're going to raise that up to be flush with the top of that curb to get some movement as a part of it. In where it says proposed on the plan, there is a concrete, basically flush curb that is going to try and bring the water to that location and then run it out to the ditch that's over by George's, out by the street. But this is a very difficult drainage issue. We don't have any storm sewer anywhere remotely close to these lots. There's no way that they could add it because it wouldn't go anywhere. The ditch to the north, even though it's deep when it gets to George's, when it's here, it's not deep at all. And so trying to get some storm sewer that's 3 feet below the grade just will not drain to anything. We've talked about some permeable pavement. We've talked about bioswale islands to try and do some of these things, But as far as getting the water to make it cost efficient and to try and drain the water out as easily as they can, that was the best solution that they had come up with. So yes, drainage is a challenge on this site in particular. It's much easier on the south portion of the property, on the adjacent neighbor site, but this one is a real challenge. And it's why the potholes that are closer to North State Street in front of Villanova and Lupine are where they are, is because that's where all the water goes, which is where all the ice goes, which is then in the spring where it all thaws and heaves. So,
thanks. All right, so why don't we put it down for action, and we'll come back with that conversation. Thank you, everybody. Great questions and on this. All right, CD3. What else we got?
thank you, Mayor. This is ordinance number 26007. It's the ongoing saga of columbariums and crematoriums and cemeteries. So everybody's favorite topic, looking towards the future. What we have found, as I've discussed with the Shepherd of the Hill case, is that the state has certain laws that preclude, not quite to the level that the governor is proposing for housing, but it precludes related to cemeteries. So if you want to have a cemetery, that property needs to be zoned for a cemetery and then have a special use placed on it in our code to allow for that cemetery to exist. That creates an issue for columbariums, because if you want to place a columbarium, no matter how small, no matter how big, that whatever property that sits on needs to be zoned for a cemetery, which there haven't been a lot of cemeteries that have moved unless there's a tollway going through, a bridge being constructed, or some major river being reconfigured. We don't have any of those in town. So, so that's the reason why we are looking to do this at this point. Oh wait, sorry, this is, yeah, sorry. We're on a different slide set. Sorry, I'll do this one. So the changes that we are making is we are adding a definition for columbarium so that we have that reflected in our code. You can read it. I won't read it for you. Cemetery, we are taking out crematoriums and we are including mausoleum and vaults, but there is a distinction related to the crematorium portion. It will be a special use just like a cemetery is. The other component of this is a columbarium can't be approved in anywhere but a cemetery. That's the other change that we're making with this. So either a property needs to be coming through concurrently to become a cemetery, and you could have a columbarium be associated with that, or a columbarium would need to be located in a cemetery, in an existing one. So that's the other change. This columbarium would be in our special use category in order to have some restrictions related to the state laws. We add, it's kind of like our gas stations and some of the other special uses where there are additional conditions that we want to add to it. This basically identifies where it can be located, that it has to include a license from the state in order to operate it. Still subject to all of our other requirements, code enforcement still applies, and we relate signage to being fastened to it and not some freestanding element. So we're looking to have ordinance 26008 be placed on the council agenda for consider action. And the one item that I'll add related to the crematorium is that there are some existing crematoriums in town. They are connected to funeral homes. They are not standalone crematoriums. So the one additional change that the Plan Commission asked for as a part of this approval that was outlined in your staff memo is that if a crematorium makes up 50% or less of the square footage of an existing funeral home or a proposed funeral home, it could be allowed, but we would not allow a standalone crematorium. And we also included veterinary practices because there are people today that would cremate dogs, cats, and whatever else they have in their house. So we added that as a part of a vet clinic as well as a funeral home. Be happy
Aaron,
to
I think
take
you've
any
been
questions.
deepest into all this stuff. What's your thoughts on it?
I worked with Lance for the last couple months on this. Yeah, columbariums are necessary. Our cemetery, as we're looking at a columbarium, the whole idea, the issue right now is funding. They're not cheap. It's going to cost, I don't know, probably about $125,000 to $150,000 to put a columbarium up, and that's just one. I'll call it a block of 64 a niche. It was unfortunate in regards to the church, but the state of Illinois is, if anything is engraved in stone, it is its cemeteries, and it is the regulations thereof, and regulations that I have to follow when I sell a grave or I bury somebody. So I feel bad for the church, but it is what it is. And from the crematoriums, you know, I just know the one, which is O'Neill's, and they had this special use several years ago. I don't remember how many years ago. I only know of one pet crematorium, and it's not within the city of Lockport. So,
Okay. But in the end, like, my ask is that, you know, with your expertise in all this, you're comfortable with it?
I'm comfortable with it, yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts, questions?
Does this make it a little bit more strict, or is, I guess the piece I missed is, it has to be, I mean, something can be constructed, but it just has to be in conjunction with a current cemetery, is that what we're saying?
This recognizes columbariums. In our previous code, we didn't recognize columbariums as a thing.
Okay.
And if you don't recognize it, it's expressly prohibited
thing.
from occurring.
Got it.
And so, recognizing that it is something that is on the horizon and currently in use by a large number of people, we want to at least make it an option, but we also want to reflect state law in what that means. And rather than dangle the fruit out in front of every church in the city and all those that might otherwise want to do a columbarium on their property, it is much easier, clearer, simpler for us to restrict them to exist in a cemetery or in a property that is concurrently being zoned for a cemetery.
Okay. Does that make sense?
It does, but I mean, are there any properties currently that are zoned for cemetery that aren't being used?
No.
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I would venture to guess it will be extremely rare to have a new cemetery be proposed somewhere. Doesn't mean it won't happen, but currently, all of the ones that we have are actively being used.
So basically, when mummification becomes a thing again, we'll have to add that.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we all good with consent then? All right, thank you. What do we got next, CD4?
Yes, this last one is a little bit of a cleanup for us. When we talked about the attached single-family restrictions related to front-loaded and rear-loaded townhomes and trying to adjust those to reflect the way that townhomes are platted, we neglected to include C2T in that list because we do allow for attached single-family townhomes to be constructed within the C2T district. And so in order to clean that up, we are going through to add that column into our residential portion of the code so that it's updated. Everything basically reflects the R4 zoning, so it's our most dense zoning. And given the way that we look to use it in the downtown area, given the way that we would look to use it in some of the other areas where it's intended for a more maybe urban style type approach for townhomes and apartments and things like that. We wanted to make sure that we had it in there so there was no confusion if and when somebody wanted to do a townhome either downtown or somewhere else in the city. If you remember, the section of Lockport Square did get rezoned to C2T with the intention of doing townhomes. This remedies that. And Serenity Landing, the apartment development at your request, was rezoned C2T to reflect potential townhome, potential apartment, or potential commercial as well. So this allows us to be consistent with the way that we've zoned properties.
So once it's zoned, that's it? I mean, like the one at Lockport Square, that nobody came to tuition. It stays that way, then? It's zoned that way if need be?
Well, I mean, unless the property owner requests a rezoning.
Okay.
Which is the way that
I
it
understand, but that's there if anyone ever comes in to ask to build townhomes
Yes,
with. Yeah, okay.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
All right, any other questions, thoughts, concerns on this? This will be, I request action on it if you guys don't mind. Thank you. And then, what else we got? PW1, what do we got?
Yes. So this one is for the IEPA and the EPA. Requires all public water systems to have an emergency response plan and a risk and resilience assessment. These plans were last done in 2021, so they're 5 years old, which the IEPA requires every 3 years to be updated, and the EPA requires every 5 years. So what we're going to do is try to update it every 2.5 years so that we kind of stay in both cycles and meet the requirements. So since we haven't really updated it for the last 5 years, we engaged EEI to kind of review ours, update it to meet all the new regulations and requirements that are required in the plans. So this is just to basically approve placing resolution number 26-024 for the task order to update the risk and resilience assessment and the emergency response plan from engineering enterprises for the total not to exceed fee of $58,892 on the next agenda.
All right, questions, concerns?
Yes.
EEI is the same company that's doing the
Correct.
analysis of our water system.
Yes.
Is there any cost savings in going with EEI since a lot of the tasks on here, like in the
They are
water
actually,
system related?
It's actually not the same studies because they're going to be looking at different water systems and our infrastructure itself. This is actually plans that says that we have backups for like the emergency response. It kind of covers how do we handle it if our SCADA goes down.
Gotcha.
Or if there's a virus attack on our system. So it's looking at all those kind of processes. And the resilience is same thing as identifying our flaws within our operational system.
Okay.
So they are total different plans and everything. So they are different tasks, so no overlaps.
Not even one.
Are we good with a consent on this? Yes. All right, thank you. And then PW2, what else you got, Brian?
Yeah, this one is for the pretreatment, our industrial pretreatment program assistance that we hire Baxter Women for. So this is more for the sanitary portion. They've been doing it for years on, but the IEPA, there's still more and more requirements that are coming out. So as part of our permit requirement is we're supposed to go in and check every industrial user and make sure they're in full compliance that they're pre-treating their waste before it hits our system. This basically has them fill out all the forms and and making sure that they go in and visit these businesses every quarter to assure that we are meeting the requirements. They're meeting their requirements, they're filling out the right forms, and then we log it in and they basically submit it to the IEPA for final approval. We don't have a pretreatment person on staff. Down the way, as we get the new permit in 3 to 5 years, whenever we do get our new permit, which most likely probably won't happen until after a wastewater treatment plant it might be something that we start to bring on staff to do this, so we can wrap in more pretreatment requirements that are coming out. Like, it'll be all our triple basins, all the restaurants are gonna have to be reviewed annually, so it'll become a verbose program, so it'll probably need a full-time staff person to oversee, so. But this is just for the resolution to approve placing resolution number 26-025 for the task order to assist the industrial pretreatment program from Baxter Women for a fee not to exceed $29,100 on the next city council.
All right, questions, concerns? Good with consent? Consent it is. Thank you, Brian. What do you got, Big John?
Thanks, Mayor. I have resolution number 26029. This is for a contract for relocating the Lockport Emergency Management Agency building, which is currently near on the property where the treatment plant is. Due to the expansion of the treatment plant, the building is in the way. City staff's contacted the manufacturer of the building, found that there's a sole source contractor, AC Erectors. They're the only vendor qualified to disassemble, transport, and reassemble the building. They will do those things along with replace install 3 new end walls, and install a new galvanized roof, as the building has got some years on it. For a not to exceed fee of $65,425, the building will be relocated to the cement foundation pad that was put up on the property at Second and Canal, where we have an existing building. Then EMA can move their stuff back into the building at that time.
Okay. And then PD2 is basically the same project, just the electrical?
Correct. That would be the electrical to the building and then the interior. That is correct.
All right. Everybody okay with PD1 and PD2? Any questions? Yep, consents are good. All right, so consent for both PD1 and PD2. And then tell me about PD3.
PD3. It is that time of year where we purchase new vehicles as a part of our 2026 budget. There is a mistake in the first line. I apologize. It should be the request to purchase 3, not 5 police vehicles. Again, I apologize. For not to exceed price of $135,000. We did go to 5 different vendors. Some did not reply back to us. Bentonhausen is the low bidder for these. Of this, the funds will be for 1 vehicle from our 2026 budgeted capital, and the other 2 from federal asset forfeiture.
Okay. Sounds good. We all good? Is it consent? Right on. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, friends? Well done. Good discussions. Thank you. Looking for motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Jonathan, JR, all in favor?
Aye.
Right on.